All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody, wherever you happen to be. My name is Indrek, and I am the co-founder at AlphaBlues, and I am super excited to welcome you to our first ever webinar. So these things seem to be something that fills the void between people not having or being capable of attending events. And so we at AlphaBlues decided to put together a webinar on conversational AI. And what I'm going to cover today is I'm going to go through two aspects of the topic. I'll first briefly talk about us, so you get a little background into the company, and then I get into two topics. One, as we said in the title, how to retain customers with conversational AI. And two, how to win them, right? My plan was to spend 30 minutes on talking about this topic. I could talk on this for 4 days, but clearly we don't have the time, neither do I or you, I'm sure. So it will be a very brief overview. I'll try to go into as deep as possible, but it will be brief, right? So no expectations of this being like a very in-depth lecture of everything, since we had to cover a lot of ground. If you are using the solution, then we have a chat bar at the side, so I can leave questions till the end when you can ask them, or you can just go in and ask them as I'm speaking. So I will take a look at those, and then yeah, there we go. So submit your questions in the chat. Okay, so let's get going, to be mindful of everyone's time. So I'll share the slides, and the recording of this will be available for later view as well. Johan, can you see that? Okay, cool. So we're just checking that the system works well. Okay, so the topic is conversational AI for keeping and winning customers. So, why are we good in talking about this in the first place? Well, we've been in this business for more than 3 years. We're a startup company based out of Tallinn, Estonia, and we started this several years ago to harness machine learning into solving a real-world problem. And this was, how to automate communication and make it easier for your customers, right? And so over time, we have built our product around it. We have now built virtual assistants or chatbots that they are doing more than 250,000 conversations each month. So we have a pretty good amount of knowledge in deploying those solutions, how these things work at scale. And during the COVID-19 crisis, we built, as part of a hackathon, a Corona bot that got featured live in CNN in April. So this was really cool because we wanted to do something with our product to help the community, but also it was a testament to the strength of our product being featured in global mainstream media. So going into the first half, conversational AI for keeping customers. And in this context, I'm talking more about customer service. And then in the second part, I will be talking more about sales. So first, I think one thing is important to define, like what is conversational AI, right? So what does it mean? And in our context, what it means is that, essentially it's machines that understand the human text and speech and provide relevant answers, right? So it's a system that you talk to or you chat with, and then you get answers that are relevant for you, and it actually works. And so with that, I want to spend a few moments on sort of getting into the nuts and bolts of technical side of actually what it means, because the conversational AI can mean a lot of things, and in this case, we have to differentiate between intent detection and speech to text and text to speech. So one of the key parts of these conversational AI systems is that how do they understand us? So this is the middle part here. And what I mean here is that if somebody asks a question like, my salary has not arrived, then, you know, what does that mean? How does the computer understand that, you know, there's a question about salary not arriving or payments not being processed? And this is what's solved with a thing called natural language understanding, which uses machine learning and deep learning algorithms. So that's like the core. You know, there's a text question coming in, there's a lot of algorithms that figure stuff out, and then there's an answer. You know, your salary will arrive in 2 business days. Now, speech to text is something that happens before that, or let's say voice bots. So in there, when you talk to, let's say, Alexa or Siri or Google Assistant, your speech, the voice phrase of my salary has not arrived, will be made into text, and that is speech to text, literally what it means, right? And then that text is put into the intent detection engine. So this is actually how the voice systems work in a nutshell. And then the answer, you know, it takes 2 business days. Then that text is taken and then it's converted into speech. And the robot will say like it takes 2 business days, and you know, in whatever language. So when we talked about conversational AI, then we talk about systems that can have voice or just have text, but at the core of them is that they understand you what you want. And so sort of one way to think about this as like a broad overview of is, you know, the chatbot interaction in 3 steps. The first is, you know, where you put it. You can put the bot on your website. You can put it in your intranet. You can put it in WhatsApp or in Facebook Messenger or Slack, wherever it is. There has to be a place where users interact with it. Or if it's voice, you put it in your, you know, smart speakers or Alexa. And then the second part is like the whole interface builder. So this is where you actually build the topics that the bot knows. You change the answers. You train it. And then the third part is, you know, the actual algorithms that understand the meaning and capture the intent. So this is by and large, and you know, most vendors have this have this set up. What we've done is we built it out our own product end to end in 3 steps to make it very easy for users to use. It has an API, but also a graphical user interface where you can build the whole thing. You can have your chat window, you can have your bot builder, you can have your algorithms. It's all there. And the second part, it's something that is not usually associated with chatbots and conversational AI, but we highly recommend, is handing the conversations to humans, right? Because what you have usually is that you know, the bots may understand you and give you an answer, but people quite often they say, you know, I want to talk to a real human. I just don't want to only talk with the bot. So you want to have a handover, what we call intelligent routing. So you have a conversation with the bot, and then the bot forwards the question that you have to actually a human agent that answers it, and that's connecting the bot to the live chat where the agent takes over and then answers your queries. So, and here, you know, you have various metrics and analytics also part of it, but the key in our product and what we also built out is that you have a full suite of the conversation with the bot going also to the conversation with the agent. Here's an example, and I just wanted to sort of highlight some of the practical things we've done and also give some pointers what we learned, so that when you think about this topic of using conversational AI in your customer service, is how it actually would work. So we did this for a telecom company based out of Estonia. You know, they have hundreds of thousands of customers. So, you know, you come in on their website, the bot pops up. It can be triggered automatically. It can pop up on its own. And then, you know, it gives you a menu, because some people just want to click buttons and interact with the menu. And this, you can also call a chatbot just interacting with the menu. Nothing wrong with that. If your customers prefer it that way, that's fine. What we found is that some people want to interact through the menu, some want to ask questions. So in the bottom, you write, how much do I owe you? And you write this in free text, right? So this is just natural language. You can do this in our product in any language, in any European language, including Russian and Arabic. So you have a large variety of choice. And once you ask that, then actually, in this case, the bot is so smart that it's capable of actually understanding what you want and tells you to log in. So you can actually log in with your regular login credentials into that environment. And then once you're logged in, then it tells you that, this is the amount of money you have to pay, 35 euros and 25 cents, which is your invoice and the bill. So here we have a case where the bot is giving you personalized information, and it's actually helping you get information that otherwise you might not have gotten on your own, and it's all done through a machine. And so in this case, in this customer service case, what's actually cool is that the bot uses the back-end information systems of the telecom company, so it can access all kinds of data. But also one of the things to keep in mind is that these solutions actually suit. We usually say when you have at least 1,000 or 2,000 chats per month. This is when it starts paying off, because automation is all about numbers, and today, sort of in general, the bots are able to understand maybe 85% of conversations. So let's say you have 10,000 people coming in, the bot understands around 8,500 of them, and then it's fully able to automate maybe 2,000 to 3,000 of them, and the rest usually they say, I want to talk to a human agent. The bot actually may give a correct answer, but what you have is that sometimes the people they want to talk to a human. They just want to say, well, that's great, but I want to talk to a human. So this automation systems with customer service, if you have less than 1,000 chats per month, it's actually easier to do it with a human being, because then they will be doing 35 chats per day, and a human being the brain is still smarter than AI in sort of language queries and personalized detailed answers, right, in very complex cases. So but when you talk volumes, then it obviously makes sense. So let me check if I have any questions. No, as of now. So this was the case of customer service. And usually what we see in customer service, how we have built this, is that sort of how the handover happens from agents, let's say from bot to agents, is that at the end of each conversation we have a question called like, was it helpful, yes or no? When you say yes, great, you're not directed to human agents. When you say no, then you are directed to human agents. And it makes sense to keep the human agents available. A couple of pointers when you think about customer service bots. One, have a name or create a character for it. Here the Telia bot has a name. It's named Mia and has an avatar. People respond really well to this type of characters. It's very sort of relatable and approachable, kind of like a cartoon or a Disney character. So think what your brand could look like as an avatar, and then create that. Always upfront, the bot says, I am here. It says, hi, I'm chatbot Mia. You clearly understand you're talking to a robot. Don't build a robot and then make it pretend like it's human. It's people will find out. And then also, we have questions usually with things like, do I need to have my agents online all the time? Well, usually they work Monday, Friday, 9 to 5, maybe sometimes Saturdays. In those cases, what we have is a solution where if the agents are not available, then the bot has an offline form. So it says, hey, our agents are not available, but fill in your name and email and send us a message, right? So this is something where you can still get those customer queries coming in, even though the agents are not online, and they will get it to their email or their CRM system and follow up, let's say Monday morning. Connection, usually some topics we also get is authentication. Yes, very helpful. If you have authenticated users, you could actually provide them usually with more detailed information. At scale, it works well. Authentication is really not that difficult to do, but of course it depends on what type of authentication method you use. Different channels. If you use this, let's say social channels, then there people are already authenticated. But of course, in usually what we've seen in Facebook and those types of channels, it's more let's say the website questions are maybe more serious, and Facebook is also more like entertainment. So you might have people just like chatting with you or asking about your brand or like what's that. Whereas on the website, people come in and have very specific questions, usually what they do. So this is something to keep in mind as channels are different. And then, when you talk about all kinds of things, briefly mentioning like hosting, then, we host for European clients, we host them in Europe, in the cloud. It can also be done on premise. Usually the cloud is fine for most companies. And then other questions come in as, training the bots and things like that. Then, usually what I'd say is like a bot is like wine. It gets better over time. So what you have there is that you need to think of a bot as more like not just like a 1 month or 2 month project, but more like a digital employee that you hire and you will keep it for a long time. So, the training the bots is not that difficult, and you can get started with 500 or 1,000 phrases. Let's say you have an average bot that knows about 50 to 100 topics. But keeping that quality up, it requires a little bit of work. So it's not something that we start today and end in 2 weeks. Think like long term. That's about that. Okay, so going over. Okay, so we have some questions. Okay, somebody asked, do I need the bot in one language and he can translate? Okay, so yeah, very good question. So what we currently advise is that you have, for one language, you have one bot. So let's say you have a bot in English and you want to make a bot in German, then you make the bot in English and you train it. And then you make the bot in German and you train it. Once you make the English bot, and assuming your customers and the questions are similar asked in English than they are in German, then you can simply copy the content of that bot into, let's say, the German version, and then just translate the answers and retrain it. There's also options to use automated translation. If your bots are in, let's say, in 2 countries are similar enough that you use automated translation, so that you're just using one bot that is capable of doing the conversations in spite of the language being used. But it heavily depends, because sometimes you have customers in one country, then the answers are different than they are in another country. If the answers are very similar, it can be done through just one bot. But if the answers are very different, then it might make sense to have 2 bots because they are different bots for different use cases. So we always try to think of a bot as in terms of use case. So that's that. Yeah, good question. Okay, so moving on to now of winning customers. As said, it can be used for customer service, but also it can be used for winning customers. And this is a topic that I would then approach from two angles, really. One is from, let's say, like a larger enterprise company point of view, and the second one is more like that suits also for smaller companies. So the enterprise view, and if we continue this telecom case, is that we had the case where the bot gave me information about my invoice, like how large it is, and then how can I pay it, and then what we followed that with is, for the telecom companies, we said the bot asked, was it helpful, yes or no, and if I said yes, then the bot determines that I am open for suggestions, I am open for sales recommendations. And then what I did is we triggered a message that said, hey, don't forget Friday is Women's Day. It was done in March. And so we have gifts, ideas for the special women in your life, right? And so it triggers a sort of a sales call to action. And once I click on the link, then I'll go on the telecom company online store where I can find a golden smartwatch that, let's say, I can buy for my wife. And so, but the key in this triggering was that, so this message was only shown to men because as I'm authenticated, the bot knows that I'm a guy, and then gives me this message, buy gifts for the special women in your life. At the time when women got this message, women saw this, then the message was, I hope you get a lot of flowers. So what you can do is you can actually really differentiate these sales messages. So it can go as deep as, the bot can check that, okay, you have iPhone 8, and then it says, hey, why don't you switch to iPhone 12 because we have these on sale right now. So you can do this you can do personalized sales messages at scale, which is very powerful because then you basically have a personalized sales bot 24/7 doing things that, let's say, no human would be able to do at the scale of like tens of thousands of chats per month. So this is something that can be done on a larger scale. But we also came to think this year into more how it can be done on smaller cases, and we developed Salesbot, which is it's a lightweight but very powerful sales tool built on our conversational AI platform. And you can try this out actually if you are on our website. So you can go to alphaboost.com, and then you can try it out there. But essentially what it is, it's a chat bot on a chat window. Inside the chat window, it pops up, let's say after every 10 seconds or 2 seconds or on click. It can be triggered so that it pops up, let's say, on only once per unique session, so that you don't see it popping up every time I visit the page. And then it's, ask the questions, hey, how can I help you? And it gives you information about, what do you do? How much does it cost? I want a sales bot. How do I get it? Stuff like that. And this is just all clickable, right? So here, what we have done is we have taken out the free text form. And this is why I'm saying it's a lightweight tool, because then you don't have the need to train for the natural language. Because remember what I said in the beginning was that if you put in the natural language and the intent training, then you need to teach the bot how to understand things. And the trick is that people will ask the same thing in a million different ways. So you will have people coming in and saying, hey, how much do you cost? Or somebody say, how many euros? And they mean the same thing, but the bot needs to understand what are euros, what is cost, what is dollars, and so on and so forth. So you save a lot of time by eliminating the natural language. It comes at the expense that people cannot express themselves, but you win in time and let's say ease of use, right? So you put that bot on your website, and then once you click on a topic here, let's say like what is a sales bot, then the bot just gives you an answer and provides you another set of things that you can select from. So it's very easy and very intuitive. And then once you say, okay, I want it, I click this, I want the sales bot, then all I have to do is I just fill in my email and my message, and then I send it. And then after I send this, it comes to our email, and then I will just get a lead. So the sales bot is actually a lead collector from your website, and it can be built in several ways. It can be built with a variety of topics. It can be built so that it just pops up and asks for the lead right away. You can make it so that, let's say, on some pages with specific products, it comes up with one type of message and then asks for an email. So, or let's say you want to book a meeting or whatever it might be. So what the idea is that you can actually hear book the, you spend a lot of time and money on getting people to your site through AdWords and other types of ads. And then this sales bot helps you convert those into actual leads that you can take over. The bot, of course, could also sell you the thing on the spot, but this solution is actually helpful for companies that they have a certain number of visits per day. We've seen that ideally a few hundred website visits per day at least. And then the products that you sell through this, ideally, the value is, a few thousand euros upwards. So where, the idea is that the value of the lead and the deal is relatively high. So that's, where you want to use this. But, you don't have maybe, let's say you're selling cars or consulting or something that's expensive, but you don't have, you don't have the luxury of having 3 people online chatting all the time. So rather you will use a Salesbot, to feed you those leads that then you can take action upon very quickly. What we have seen is this works well. This suits companies that have that sell expensive things and where the value of one lead and deal is relatively high. So this is where it suits pretty well. And again, it can be configured all kinds of ways. You can of course add here human chat as well. But sort of coming back in the beginning, I think one of the key things companies have to keep in mind is that, what is their business case? Because at the end of the day, conversational AI is a tool and you want to use it for solving your problem, and then you want to have a business case. So number one thing, what I tell companies is like, what's the KPI? Like, what's the key performance indicator, the metric you want to improve? Is it that you want to get your customer service being faster? Is it that you want to get your NPS scores higher? Do you want to convert more visitors? You can use for all of these, but it would be slightly different, adapted to your use case. So this is the key thing to bear in mind. It's, we're not selling technology just for the sake of selling technology. It's for actually having something that you can benefit from. And so last but not least, things we've been doing and what we see on the market that actually is companies have interest in is of course WhatsApp. Facebook Messenger has an open API. Anybody can build bots there. WhatsApp so far is more closed. They work through partners and you can add bots to business apps. But of course, it's something that, more than 1 billion people use WhatsApp. So a very, very popular channel. And then, we build here solutions where you can write in natural language, like, you're writing get a travel loan, and then the bot understands and gives you an answer in natural language. We've also done voice bots in WhatsApp as well, which is really cool. When you send to WhatsApp a voice recording, then that voice is transcribed, made into text. That text goes through the understanding engine. The bot gives an answer. It can give the answer in text or also in voice as well. And similarly, you can share locations, like, you send in your location. I'm right now like in the city. And then it says, hey, we found these ATMs or other points of interest near you. So this is, and then when you click on them, you can actually go and find directions to these. And as an interface, it also works in mobile and web. So you can, works on mobile websites, or you can integrate also in your app as well. So I'll stop the screen sharing in this case. And just to wrap up, I'd say conversational AI is definitely coming more of age. It's being used more. Because we've been in this business more than almost 4 years, we've seen that the initial hype of chatbots came and went, which is a good thing. I think now you have stronger use cases with companies. We know that bots are not going to replace apps. Apps are here to stay. You're not going to have a bot to order an Uber. That would just be ridiculous, because the interface of ordering an Uber through the app is so much better than just typing to the bot, and it gets very complicated. But there are use cases where the bot actually works well. So if you think of, like I said, customer service automation, sales automation, it can also be internal customer service automation. So let's say team communication at scale, what's our Wi-Fi password? How do I log in? I lost my password, stuff like that. That also works really well. But the key thing I would leave you with is think of a use case where you want to use the bot and what are the metrics, and then go from there. And then usually how we recommend people to get started is that if they are serious about it, then usually we say, okay, what's the quickest way to try this, right? So do I want to test something internally? I just build a bot for my own team and I try it, I see how it works, or I build it so that actually my customers, I'll put it live on some kind of website, and then my customers can also access it and then and try it out, and I can measure how it works. So usually setting it up depending on what you want, but in 3 months you can easily have a bot built for you, test it for a month or two, and then see how it works. So I'll leave you at that. If there are any questions, happy to take them. So feel free to write it in the chat or the questions link. Okay, how does your offer differ from others? Yeah, good question. So there are like 1 billion chatbot companies out there. Like everybody, at one point, everybody seemed to have a chatbot company. The real differentiator with us is that we provide like unparalleled depth in end-to-end chat automation, right? So it comes down to the 6 features that I showed. Is that we'll provide you the chat window where the bot actually lives. Then we provide you the environment where you can build it, the algorithms where you can train it, and then also the handover to the live agents, the live chat for the agents, and the statistics. So you get everything in one suite, like end-to-end solution. And we built it everything ourselves, ground up. So there's no APIs from Google or Facebook or Amazon or Microsoft running around, and we're just putting nice wrappers on it. So it's very specific solution. So it suits those that want to build specific bots at scale to handle like large volumes. If you just want to do like a very simple, hi, I am bot, like what's the weather? There's plenty of tools out there for that. But if you really want to get specific, then essentially when others sell like minivans, we sell sports cars. So you can drive in both, but some people want to go really fast, have high demands, then they buy a sports car. Any other questions? Okay, so the question is, does the bot learn from the actual answers live agents give? Yes. So what we have is inside the product, we have built a solution so that when the conversation from the bot is handed over to the agent, then the bot no longer interrupts the customer. So the customer is just having a conversation with the agent. However, what the bot is doing is it's working in co-pilot mode. So it's always scanning what the customer is saying, and then it is recommending the agent what to answer, right? So the agent can actually choose the answers, what to give. So now when the customer is asking something like, I want to buy a new phone, or, what's my invoice? Then the bot gives 3 choices for the agent to choose from with probability scores. And now the agent can select the answer that he or she thinks is the best fit for the user. So once the agent selects that, then actually that phrase and answer pairing is used for training the bot. So the bot is giving recommendations, the agent is taking those into consideration and using those. And through that process, as the agent uses the bot suggestions, the bot gets smarter. So there's a way where actually the more agents work, the smarter the bot gets, and sort of automatically, because the agents are not specifically training the bot, they are just using the bot's suggestions. But yeah, very, very good question. Emails. Okay, so question is, can emails be fed into this as well? Yes, they can. Emails are a bit different than chat. Usually chat is one intent. So what this means is that somebody writes in very shortly, why is my invoice so large, right? So very clear. Emails like this are usually, hi, my name is Indrek. yesterday I got an invoice. I didn't like it. I thought it was too large. Maybe you can make it smaller. What's the problem, right? And already I'm having 4 sentences, which actually are 4 intents. Hi, my name, what happened, stuff like that. So what we can do with emails is actually we can feed it in, and then we can actually have intent ranking. So actually you figure out what are the most relevant intents, because in any email, most of it is just fillers, like things that are not important. But then that part, I got an invoice and it was too large. That is actually what this whole thing is about and what you want to aim for. So yes, it can be used, but it's chat and email by nature are a bit different in their structure and how they're built in. But it's written text, so it can be used. Yeah. Okay, so question coming in from one of our viewers: how much data do I need to train the bot? Yeah, it's a good question. You need to have. Let's just put it in numbers, right? So if a bot generally goes live, let's say you're a company and you want to have a natural language bot going live, then you have about 50 to 100 intents or topics. So the bot knows about 50 to 100 things, and that one thing can be, credit cards, home loans, size of invoice, things like that, rather specific. But usually 50 to 100 is plenty to get started, because what we see is that the customers, when they, it makes sense. It's a webinar for another day, but it makes sense to start using bot to solve questions that get asked a lot. And so when let's say you have 50 topics, then to solve the cold start problem, what you do is you just train each topic with, let's say, 15 to 20 phrases. So 50 times 20, you have 1,000 phrases into the bot. That's plenty to get started. And that 1,000 phrases to enter into the bot takes one person, maybe max, a day and a half, 2 days. So let's say only with 2 days worth of work, your bot is actually pretty competent in answering things. So the training data need is not that much. Another question: can I use the knowledge base that develops over time also used for phone support, for example, by agents entering the question and getting an answer suggestion? Yes. So if the knowledge base is as text, then that can be used. When the agents are okay, so I'm just assuming that you have a knowledge base where the agents over the phone, they type in a question, and then that knowledge base returns an answer to that question. So yes, those answers basically qualify as, one answer is one topic. We can import them into our system through spreadsheets or JSON format. And then what you can do is, if the search queries that are going into this knowledge base that the agents ask, these are essentially phrases that users ask. In this case, they're being asked by agents. So you can just, if you record those phrases, you can attach those phrases to the answers. So by and large, if you think of any, let's say, virtual assistant or chatbot, be it Alexa, Siri, us, whoever, at the core of it is a list of phrases that people ask and then linking them to the answers. And that's basically it. Sounds very simple, but of course the key is that how do you get the right phrases attached to the right answers, because there's like a bazillion combinations, right? But this is what it is. So the more phrases you have and the more answers you have and the better you have connected these two, the smarter your bot becomes. Okay, question. Can you give a brief overview of the chatbot management process within a company shortly after you have implemented the product? For example, a company with 20 customer care agents. Okay, so the chatbot management process is, if you have 20 customer care agents using the live chat. So these people actually do not need to have any knowledge of how the chatbot works, because what they are just doing is the chatbot is giving them conversations, and the humans are answering them as they usually are. So for them, sort of nothing changes. Their task is still the same. However, the benefits are they get more relevant chats specific to their skills, technical customer service agents get technical questions, business ones get business questions, stuff like that. And of course, the queue management and how the things get routed and prioritization and things like that. But they are doing the same work. In the company side, what we have is you have usually a bot trainer, or let's say project manager, and he or she is in charge of the content of the bot. So they are usually what we have with customers is that they can train the bot on their own, or we can train it. Training is usually like, you know, one or 2 days per week for one person to do in the beginning, and this is plenty to go through the logs, to train it, and to modify the content. So maintaining the bot, sometimes people think it's like a huge task that I need to do somebody full time every day. Not really. Maybe in the first, I would say, you know, you have a project manager, you know, 50% workload managing that during the first months, and then once you get settled in, and then that can decrease. Of course, if you go into things like we want to connect to our API, CRM, we want to integrate with many channels, then things get, of course, you need more work and development with the bot, how those things actually get connected and the nitty-gritty details. But in general, the key is to understand, again, the business case of why you have the bot, the metrics, how do you measure the success metrics of the bot and the whole project, and then optimize for those metrics. So it's one of those things where if you as a customer know what you want, it's a lot easier to achieve success. So hence they focus to business case. But yeah, very good practical question. All right. So if there are no more questions, you know, feel free. You can ask more. If not, then from practical terms, this video will be available for you to watch later on as well. I think you just get an email about it, or you'll get access to it. If not, you can email me, indrek@alphaboost.com. Happy to send you the video. If you have any questions, things like, let's say you're thinking about building a bot, you don't really know what to do, or you're choosing vendors, or you have other questions, you know, just send us an email. We're happy to share experience or just provide some guidance. It's a topic that we've been working a lot in, and we've seen a lot of things, and we've done a lot of things that make sense, a lot of things that don't make sense. So we don't want others to repeat our mistakes. So with that, I hope that you enjoyed our webinar. We are actually right on time. So any questions, let us know. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have other people that you think might benefit from this video, feel free to let me know or share this with them. And we will most likely have these webinars become regular. And also we have a lot of content on our site, alphaboost.com/blog. So we post there frequently about the product updates and the insight. So it's also a great resource for you to use and sort of get quickly acquainted into, you know, what is conversational AI, how to build these things, and how to benefit. So with that, yeah, thank you very much, and then have a good rest of the evening, and I hope to hear from you and see you soon in our next webinars. Take care.